more, that looked better for me. Granted, so that was a lot lower. We'll go check, but that could be the closest one yet. So what we were working up on the driving range really has transferred over to the golf course. But again, one more time, and then when we go out and play next time, I want you to start, whatever it is, take one less to really
try and utilize these kind of shots.
Yeah, we'll try to get this to implement into your golf game and just see if there's any results coming from it. I guarantee you hitting more controlled, balanced golf shots and checking the ego, not really caring about, because you said you kind of like knowing that you're the longest hitter in all your kind of groups, and every now and then you can stick your chest out and say, oh, I just ripped wedge there, when the shot calls for it. But let's start playing the game of golf the way the hole should be played. Hole here, we probably, if you're not feeling too great and it's kind of a relatively short hole, so that you find yourself around this kind of distance.
140, 150 range.
Yeah, if you're not hitting driver, which you usually, if you're playing a competitive round, you'd probably never hit driver on this hole. Usually you can bunt an iron out here and then kind of leave yourself with a relatively short shot in. So it's kind of very similar to what we were just talking about up on the driving range earlier. And so I want you to kind of see the difference, feel the difference, talk about kind of being a little more controlled and balanced with less kind of angle of attack and club head speed generated with, really whipping that pitching wedge. So instinctively, you would just grab pitching wedge because you're associating that with this number that you are.
Every time.
Yeah, so when you're creating that much club head speed with that much of a lofted club, you're going to come up with backspin. And like I said, so now knowing how much club head you can create with these wedges these days, that we want to start kind of controlling the spin on the golf ball when you hit approach shot. So I'm going to go ahead and grab you that 9, and I want to start training you and your body on how to be able to hit and kind of check your ego when you're out on the golf course. And who cares that you can, if you need to, you can really rip a pitching wedge 150 yards, but for the time being, I want you to go at that same target, and I'm going to grab a 9-iron for you. We can kind of sling one, that we want to overcut one for the time being, and then I want a blend of hopefully this swing versus that swing you just made. Now, I mean, you're right in the middle of the fairway on that ball, but we want to try to see if we can sling one to get you. Yeah, see, there it is. So now you can tell yourself that you're capable of hitting those left to right ball flights. Someone who his truth was always a drawer of the golf ball. Now you can really kind of sling one. Although you overcut that one, but the whole goal was just to hit it left to right. Pre-shot, the pre-swing, I want you to come kind of pick your line. Where do you see now, instead of going over off to the right, now we're going to be aimed at that 150 stake or that green box?
Hopefully it moves to the right.
Perfect. Let's see. I'll keep an eye out and just see if. So just feel like you're open relative to your target line, and that you're going to swing with your body line. Perfect. So I'd call that a push, right? So that's good that we went from that little push draw to just a push straight flight with those adjustments. So transferring it from the driving range to the golf course is really the difficult task. And we've got a few balls here. Now I want you to, the adjustments that we were talking about, I want you to feel like Matt Burke still hitting the golf shot, but we're going to make sure that ball position is forward to ensure that we're hitting up on it. And that kind of helps with where your swing arc will be coming down. You'll be enough around to try to want to hold that base and just feel like you're hitting that left to right ball. Normally, what would you do? You would just really want to lean back and get one up over the trees and hit a draw, but then you find yourself usually in the left rough or snap hook it into those bunkers.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just see what you would normally do before we talk about what we talked about on the range the other day as far as hitting that fade. So this would be your stock kind of draw shot that you go to. So that would be, this is why we're going to implement the fade. So every now and then, if you didn't really get up underneath it,
Can I go low?
that it would go low, and then now all of a sudden you're taking a relatively short hole and making it not a birdie hole for you, right? And that's the whole goal.